which sneakers just aren't for me anymore. And I don't mean that I dislike them or I don't love them, but I realize in like a year's time I haven't worn them whatsoever. Now, let's just throw this out there. That does not mean that the sneakers are trashed. At one point, I absolutely positively loved them. At one point, I doubled up. At one point, I owned the older retro and picked up the new one. But again, I haven't worn these in like a year's time. So let's just go ahead and get to it. I'm sure you will have plenty to say in the comment section, and some of your comments may land in an upcoming video because I think it's going to add the very context that I'm thinking of for that video. So let's just start with this one because I know this is going to anger some people, right? I just know it is. I know it is. The shoe is actually so pristine too, and that should tell you all that you need to know. It should tell you all that you need to know. That's right, yep, it's got the Nike Air on the back. I don't know what it is about sixes, but over the last 2 years, I've come to realize I just don't wear them like that. Right, like I picked up the Georgetown 6. I called it the Yankees 6 because duh, look at the color. I just knew, right? I just knew I would reach for that shoe. Reality hits you sometimes and you don't. Like the things you think will just be integrated like seamlessly into your closet or into your rotation, it doesn't always work out that way. For whatever reason with sixes, that is the case. Like I've had sixes. I mean, and they just haven't been the winners or the hero that I reach for fits, and I'm really not sure why. Now, to me personally, sixes are certainly not like one of the most comfortable silhouettes or retros that you can buy. That doesn't mean that they're going to like hurt your feet all day if you're in them. And I remember the carrying on that occurred for this because, right, with a lot of men's pairs, the red was actually bleeding over onto the white and the midsoles, so it was not a good look. A lot of people had pink midsoles. I did not. I picked this up from Finish Line. Yeah, I picked this up from Finish Line because that was like the only store I think like in my mall at the time that actually had them and had the 6.5. And this is what I mean when I say not really worn. Do we see that? I can't, like, it's so hard for me to justify logically, like, holding on to this. Why is it still in this pristine near dead stock condition? Why? Why is it? So I've just come to realize that I think with sixes, you know, I don't, like what was it, the 2014, I believe? I gave that to one of my closest friends, and my best friend and I let her just have that pair because I was like, oh, like I don't need 2 of these now. I have the newer retro, and like the newer retro just wasn't being worn either. All right, so second silhouette that I realize I appreciate, I really like it, not really worn. Now it's funny because the one I intend to keep is a model that's similar. It's not the same. Right, so the women's OG, and of course I have that, it's very similar to this. Now, I doubled up on this at one point because, again, I worked at Kids Foot Locker, so I was able to get this on discount when it dropped, and I originally hit on the shock drop for this. It just sits in my closet, y'all. So, yeah, so that is the Air Jordan 13 Flint. I was so excited to have this. It was the first time that I ever really felt like I had the opportunity to get the Flint in my collection. And again, hit on the shock drop, got it in. I had fits, I had everything up, right? I did the whole shebang for the video. And over this past year, I don't think that I've opened that box to wear this shoe. And if I did, it was like only once. Now, even with me having recently picked up the Old Navy top coat, right? It's navy, herringbone, looks gorgeous. Even with me having just picked that up, yes, this shoe goes really well with it. Here's the reality. Every single time I go to wear that coat, I'm not going to wear this shoe. So I'm sure some would justify keeping it because it goes so well with the coat. I am personally not justifying keeping this shoe. I don't think, like, again, these are going to go on the chopping block. So once we get to the end of the month, I'm sure that will be the letting go to figure out if I, you know, was able to get rid of these and have these gone. You know, the goal would be to sell them and have that money and have it go towards whatever else I may want it to go towards. But I don't know. And again, sometimes it's not always, I'm not sure why I don't reach for certain silhouettes because the 13 is really comfortable. I think the 13 is arguably the most comfortable retro that you could hope to have. I know some people say like the 14s. I only had the 14 low and it was okay. I don't think it topped the 13 for me. And then I do think 5s are comfortable. I had 1 5 and that's gone as well. So I you know, I feel bad, but I feel like I would feel more bad for holding on to a shoe that I'm clearly just not reaching for. And I've already posted the red Flint pair. So I think I just picked that up because I was like, oh, I already have the Flint. Let's get the red Flint. You live and learn, okay? Lesson. You live and learn. So both of these, I'm sure, shocking. I'm sure the comments are going to do what I expect them to do. I think I'm just preparing myself for that, which is okay. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. Because again, those comments may be featured in an upcoming video for later on this month. So on my Instagram is usually where I'll post if I want to go ahead and get rid of shoes. That talks out with that TJ. So I'm sure these will possibly make their way onto my stories. Now we're already looking ahead to 2026. Why? Why are we doing this? Why? Can we let 2025 breathe? And I'm only asking that because it's already stacked and people have already complained that there's so much coming out and this could be the final year for a lot of people, right? You guys can check out that video because a lot of you have said that, yeah, this is it. This is the last hurrah for me when it comes to Jordan Brand. So we're already looking ahead that the He Got Game 13s, those are set to drop, apparently 2026. And then they're going to bring back the black infrared 6, not the white one. I already sold my black one last year, so you should know that I don't care about that dropping again in 2026. But I think in getting rid of, looking to get rid of these silhouettes or just being honest with myself about the models that I don't really wear or reach for, I'm looking back on sneakers I wanted to pick up in the past, right? I had like on a watch list willing to pay resale for. That would have been the biggest regret because just because I paid a certain amount doesn't mean that I'm probably wearing them a whole lot. Fun fact, the Fear of God 1 doesn't get worn a whole lot. It's not a really practical sneaker, okay, to just throw on with whatever, whenever. So it's not worn a whole lot. Those are certainly the most like expensive pairs that I've picked up. So had I picked up, even as much as I loved it, the Aleli May 6, the Travis Scott 6, the olive pair, those probably still wouldn't have been worn as much as I would have hoped for them to have been worn at those resale prices. So the cost per wear would have been so high. That would have been the regret, right? I know some people have commented that part of their apprehension in paring down their collection is people have regrets. And like, I get it. I think this is why I'm okay. Like, I'm impatient, but I am okay with the process being I've let some shoes sit in my closet for a whole year and I still haven't really reached for them. So I'm like, okay, this is like a sign. Like, I'm feeling like that's a sign that I can feel comfortable with letting go of these pairs because in practicality, I've already let go of them. I'm not even wearing them. It's just a matter of them physically no longer being in my possession. So I think taking this slowly is how you can kind of mitigate some of that regret that you think that you might have. That's just where I stand with it. You guys can go ahead and comment below any tips you have for people that are looking to pare down their collection and they want to not have a lot of regret, because I haven't regretted one pair that I've let go of. Like, I have regrets about the fact that I spent money on these pairs just because I love them, but just because you love something, it doesn't mean that you have to buy it, right? Again, I'm learning to appreciate things from afar, and I think that is going to be the absolute best thing for me. So you know, that's just where I am in terms of other things, right? That you know that I love, adore, and am interested in. Unrivaled. And this WNBA free agency. Now, I have items where my goal is to have something from every single team, right? So yes, that means even the Liberty, as an Aces fan, again, things across the entire league. So Sabrina lit everyone up, you know, fully healthy in terms of unrivaled. I think she hit 7 threes in a game. So safe to say, I think she's good and recovered from the hand issue that she had following the championship game. And then I'm actually rocking a bucket hat for the Laces Basketball Club, aka the team that I cheer for, okay, within Unrivaled. So I'm just a really big fan of the opportunities for these women, seeing them just be together in ways that we never really get to, because again, when you're with your team, it's off season, they're not necessarily like together at any point. So it's great. And there's so much free agency news that dropped. I'm sure by the time this video drops, there probably is more, but you have Dejanay and Alyssa now in Dallas, and AT is now in Phoenix. So does DeWanna Bonner also join her in Phoenix? Again, if you're a WNBA fan, I'm sure these are the questions going through your mind. I don't know. It's a lot. It's been a fun off season, so I am really excited about that. But go ahead and comment below. Are there any silhouettes, I would say specifically also retros, that you realize you don't wear a whole lot? Have you made the decision to pull back or get rid of those? Or are you now actually coming to the realization that there are a lot of silhouettes that you just don't wear anymore, but they're still in your collection. Again, this is a safe space, so just go ahead and comment that below. And then based on my recent video, when it comes to this Air Jordan 85 bread, again, I understand, very tired conversation now. In terms of the marketing though, do you think this should have been pushed more behind the Air Jordan 40 or this 85 bread, which I feel like would have sold anyway based on it being limited? So comment your thoughts. I always appreciate you guys chiming in. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.